Good evening. I'd like to call the September 10th budget meeting to order for a budget public hearing, final budget meeting to order. It is 5:05 p.m. And roll call order today is Member Garrick, Vice Chair Kraus, Member Pennick, Member Davis, and then myself. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our superintendent, and also in attendance is our superintendent, Rita Beeman, our attorney, Ms. Cole Palmer, and our clerk, Ms. Jill Moramus. Superintendent Beeman.
Absolutely, Chair Sanchez. We are here for the public hearing for the final budget. I'll ask Mr. John Pavlicek, our interim CFO, to step to the mic for the overview and discussion of tax millage rates and the final budget.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we have a slide presentation for you all where we're going to go over the millage rates and the budgets and discuss some of the things that are needed for that. So starting the slide presentation, we're going to provide the overview through this slide presentation. As far as the agenda, we have public comments, board comments, and then we'll be asking you to adopt a resolution for the final millages and approve the final 2024-25 school board budget. Okay, so this is all being done to comply with TRIM. TRIM is about transparency to taxpayers. That is a statute, Section 200, Florida statute, dictates the form, size, placement, and wording of the budget advertisement. The requirement is for 2 public hearings for open discussion of the millage rates and the final budgets of all that's required for all taxing authorities. The school board approved its tentative budget on July 23rd. That was advertised in the Orlando Sentinel, and the final budget hearing was publicized by the property appraiser through notices that were sent out to all the taxpayers in mid-August. So what is a mill? A mill is $1 per 1,000 of taxable property value. The Florida Education Finance Program is the basis for allocating state and local funds to all districts in Florida, school districts in Florida. Included in that is a required local effort millage and a prior period funding adjustment millage. The Florida legislature sets the rates for this millage and the prior period funding adjustment millage. These millages excuse me, must be levied for the school board in order to receive any state funding under the Florida Education Finance Program. So, excuse me, for the next fiscal year, or this fiscal year, 24-25, the final millage rates proposed, the required local effort millage is 3.024, the prior period funding adjustment, 0.007, the basic discretionary millage is 0.748, and the capital outlay millage is 1.500. The total proposed levy is 5.279. Millage change between years. As you can see, there is a reduction in the required local effort millage along with the prior period of funding adjustment millage. So the millage is actually being reduced by 0.099 mils from what it was last year. So there's a requirement related to something called a rollback rate. The rollback rate is the millage rate that would generate the same amount of revenue as last year if applied to the current year adjusted taxable value. So for the 2024-25 fiscal year, the required local effort rolled back rate is 2.9665. The proposed final millage is 3.0310. The percentage increase in the millage over the rollback rate for that millage is 2.17%. For the total millage, the rollback rate is 5.0970. The final proposed millage rate is 5.2790. the percentage increase in that millage rate over the rollback rate is 3.57%. So we're required to say this in the law, actually. The percentage increase in the millage over the rollback rate is necessary to fund the general operating and capital outlay needs of the district. So the total millage history going back 5 years, you can see that it's been going down every year. That is actually due to the local required effort being adjusted downward by the state. And here is a graphical representation of that. So the average taxable value, as far as how property taxes are calculated, you take the average taxable value, you divide that by 1,000, that gives you the amount to multiply times the millage rate, 5.279, so the property tax on this home would be $1,249.82. Comparing between years using the average taxable values for both years from the property appraiser's office, the tax increase of an average home would be about $73.33. And now we come to the final budget. As you recall, the board approved the tentative budget on July 23rd. You are today going to be asked to approve the final budget. So at the time the tentative budget was approved, we had not finished closing the books. We did not have the carryover projects for all our funds. So this budget, as far as the dollars, it's about $197.5 million higher because of all the carryovers from all the funds. The biggest one, of course, being capital, where we have projects outstanding that we have encumbrances open, contracts open that have to be carried over. Those funds are all encumbered. These are all one-time funds. They're carried over. They're not recurring dollars. They're commitments from the prior year. And at this time, unless we have any questions, I think we're ready for, go ahead.
Thank you so much. In roll call order, I think everybody heard me say what the roll call order is. Does anybody have any questions or a discussion on this? I know I don't have any public comments. Do I? Okay, thank you. Any questions?
I would just like to thank you for your efforts in the final reading of this, and we're glad that you're here.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank our staff too, Jared Lowe and Melissa Brown. They did most of the work to do this, so I want to thank them for all their hard work.
I'm so pleased that you're here and that you have the institutional knowledge of SCPS and Director Lowe, as well as the other staff that have helped us through this seamless transition. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also would like to say thank you, and I learned a little bit last night on the barbershop talk about how the taxable rate is based from January 1st on the houses.
Right, January 2nd.
Which I didn't realize that part,
Okay.
so I thought that was kind of cool. So thank you, Mr. Bentley, because that was on your program. If there is any other questions, no public comment? All right, Superintendent Beaman?
Yes, the first recommendation is that the School Board of Seminole County adopt resolution number 2024-15, determining revenues and millages levied.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Go ahead.
Second recommendation is that the School Board of Seminole County adopt resolution number 2024-16, adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Any
Motion.
discussion? Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
No further business.
All right, any other further business? All right, with no further business, this budget public hearing is finished, or should I say adjourned, at 5:14 p.m., and we will start our school board meeting at 5:30. Thank you so much.